we still have absolutely loads of trees to cut down in this area, and plenty of daylight left, so we're going to carry on with some more logging. Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome back to more Seasons in the Valley. We're stocking up on wood ready for winter, giving us something to do while we're waiting for our crops to complete their growth cycles, and our final grass field as well, for that matter. So we're just running through with the skid steer and this turbo saw, cutting down the trees. We're going to then start delimbing them and really stacking a lot of wood onto those sort of log pallets that we created, or log stations that we placed last time out. So we want to try and get a nice good stockpile of wood ready for when the weather's going to turn better. We have sold the odd log here and there, which is why our cash is back up to about 24,000. I'll be clearing off whatever we've got in the account at the end of the day and paying that back into our loan to try and ease some of the payments on that a little bit, save us a little bit of extra cash. So right now we're kind of just killing time really until our crops are ready. We need to do something, and it seems, you know, logging is going to be a good source of income for us in the winter, so it makes sense for us to kind of prep ourselves a little bit. We aren't going to have a huge amount of time to actually work if it snows. It's going to be awkward to do stuff inside the forest, plus we're going to need to clear the roads. So why not get the bulk of the work that we might need to get done out of the way before it becomes an issue. Turbo saw is not quite as efficient at all as I was hoping it was going to be in terms of speed, because it is a little bit awkward to line up, as you've no doubt noticed. Sometimes it'll go in perfectly like that straight away, and it's very quick for cutting the tree down, very good at aiming directionally where we want the tree to fall, but there are also times when it is very awkward to actually place where we want it to be. Sometimes it's easy to just get in with a chainsaw like this and cut the tree in the direction that we want. I mean, there's no way we could get a skid steer in that gap. It's just too steep. Plus, this tree's kind of floating a little bit, as you may have noticed. But there's no way we could get a skid steer coming down there and actually cut that at a decent height / angle. So some of these more awkward ones here, like this, on this ridge, then we'll cut by hand. The rest we'll try and use the skid steer. As I say, I do want to clear a nice good section of wood around here. I have no plans to convert this land. What we'll probably do is, once we've cleared this section, we'll actually buy some poplars. Not poplars, sorry, some saplings, and actually start reseeding the area with new trees. So, you know, we can start, you know, to regrow the forest, because I'm guessing that's going to take couple of years for the trees to actually grow back properly. I'd like to think it takes a few years for the trees to grow, rather than, you know, just all growing back up to full height in a single year. That would be a little bit excessive, I think, if they grow that quickly. In real life, it takes years and years and years for trees to reach, you know, full maturity. And while I'm not suggesting that, you know, this needs to be ultra realistic and it needs to take at least 5 years to 10 years for these trees to grow to full maturity, it would be nice if to take them at least 2 or 3. So just clean these trees up a little bit. This is going to be essentially what we're going to be doing all episode, is lumberjacking. I am actually toying with the idea of an additional little piece of equipment as well. The Biobelt's log claw for the back of a tractor. It's kind of like a log pull rather than an articulated claw. I'll show you what I mean by that. We also don't actually have a forestry tractor, and I'm wondering whether or not we should perhaps look at getting one in the future. I mean, there isn't a New Holland forestry tractor that I'm aware of, or one that can have a forestry cage fitted. And I do really want to keep with the New Holland theme. But it might be worth, sacrificing that theme just to put in a single forestry tractor for when we do work inside these woodland areas. Something with a cage on it. I don't know. Maybe that's just a little bit too much. We are still waiting for the excavator pack as well. As I'm recording this, it is the 18th. It's around midday. And the pack was in testing for the first time yesterday. So it's possible it may actually be released today during the process of me recording this episode. Not sure if it will or not. Obviously time will tell on that, and it may well already be out by the time you get to see this episode. But that is something I would like to maybe look at adding onto this map as well, would be the 902 pack. But it depends on how big the mod file is, because we are having issues in terms of just overall mod storage now. Starting to run low. Plus, it's the price of the equipment as well. We've really kind of melted our credit card on this farm. We need to start paying some money back and easing our financial debt, because it is pretty vast at the moment. But it's definitely something that we'll be adding to the farm in the future. It's just a question of when, I think. And that equipment will probably stay based here permanently, or at least a piece of that equipment will stay permanently based here at the sawmill. I think that would make a lot of sense. Just want to try and get rid of these trees on this ridge before we really start attacking with the skid steer. Because it's so steep up here, look. And I'm working on something a little bit different as well for the channel. I'm building up a stock of episodes. I'm going to release, a large number of episodes in one go, and then release batches of episodes in stages after that as well. Something a little bit different, something we don't do too often. I'm not going to give you a spoiler on that just yet. You'll just have to wait and see what that's going to be. And if it doesn't get many views, it doesn't get many views. I'm not necessarily doing it for the views. I'm doing it for, I'm going to be playing that game anyway. So I figured I may as well record some footage while I'm playing. And if you guys want to, like it and want to watch it, then by all means go ahead and do so. If you're not all that interested in it, then I won't hold that against you. But it is a game I've been dying to play for quite some time. And it was on sale on the UK PlayStation Store. And that sale has now ended today, I think. So I figured it was time to finally pick up a copy. There's not that many games that I tend to buy brand new these days. And generally, if I want to play a game, I'll wait until it comes out on sale. I generally tend to pick up a discount. A disc. I used to buy disc copies, but generally these days I tend to buy a digital copy rather than a disc copy, and just stick it straight onto my hard drive. Oh, look how steep this hill is. I don't even know if I can get up there. got to find a way out because I'm kind of a little bit trapped. Let's turn the saw off. Trying to see if I can zigzag my way up the side of the hill. It's not going to work. Alright, maybe I can go over the log. I don't know if I'm going to have the clearance to go over that log. I can just push it out of the way and then drive around the edge of it. We will get our little skid steer out. There we go. Right, so there's a whole load of trees in here where it's a little bit flatter. They're going to be perfect for cutting down with this skid steer. So let's start cutting a route through here, I think, where the ground's going to be a little bit easier for us to work on. And hopefully this saw will do its job nicely. See that tree just bouncing its way down the hill there. Cutting quite high up these, leaving quite big stumps. Hopefully we can see we can actually reduce the height of those a little bit. Let's get our cut a little bit lower down if we can. Just otherwise we're kind of wasting a little bit of wood otherwise. This one needs to be a bit higher by the look of it. There we go. Tell you what, this skid steer is really struggling on this ground. I thought it would be a little bit easier to manoeuvre up here, but it really doesn't like this uneven ground. Struggling an awful lot more than I thought it would. There we go. Right, so I'm going to carry on sort of cutting down a whole load of trees. I'm not going to go overboard. We've still got to clean these up and then get them loaded. Obviously, the next day we're going to be sort of continuing logging as well. We're kind of stuck until the end of day 4 really without something to do. So this episode is going to combine, I think, the 2 days, possibly. We'll see how that goes. I probably will combine the 2 days, so it's not yet another episode of logging after this one. But yeah, I'm going to carry on cutting down some trees, then once they're done we'll delimb them, and then we'll start sort of moving them and stacking them and trimming them down. So I'll catch up with you in a little while. Okay, so we've cleared a good number of trees to start us off with, as you can see. Still a lot more that we need to get cut down, but this will give us a nice good amount of wood to work with. And I've had an idea as well. While I was sort of chopping down and delimbing, I came up with a theory of maybe having another one of these inside the forest as a staging point. So load the logs. I need to reposition the way the wood is stacked on these, but have a single one inside here, stack all the logs onto that, and then cut the logs, use the telehandler to grab them, and then carry big piles of logs down there and stack them on those. So I'm going to do a little bit of repositioning of wood over here, which means I need the telehandler, the wheel loader, which I think is a little bit further around the corner. Where are you, wheel loader? Where did I leave you? There you are, I see you. So, the theory is, we talked about this last time out with the way that the logs are stacked. That, there's room to move them either side and create a bit of a gap in the middle. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to load up this log stand just here, the one that's furthest away. I'm going to transfer these logs over to there. So I need to kind of position the claw about right. I just push in there like this. Try and clamp down on a few. There we go. Hopefully they're not going to slide around too much. And there we go, stack them like this. I think it'd certainly make it easier for actually creating big stacks. We'll be able to do it like this. So if we have, say, one of these log stands in the middle of the forest that we can keep, sort of setting up, then taking down again, setting up and taking down, and we position the logs along it like that, cut them in half, and then we can come along and we can scoop up all of those logs like this. And then we can get them positioned. Ooh, we might need to get an extra one of those weights. I think we are going to need an extra one of those weights for the back of our telehandler wheel. I keep calling this a telehandler, and I don't know why. Back of our wheel loader. Ooh, yeah. See how much we swung around there just by turning. And again, we're being lifted off the ground. We need one of those weights. We need it pretty quick. So if I can get these down before they shake themselves free, which they are threatening to do. There we go. I think we should go buy ourselves a new weight. Let's just drop the claw off here for a second so we're not... oh, it's gone. There we go, just so we don't have that thing sticking out in front of us. Let's go pick up one of those weights. We've certainly got enough cash for one, they're not that expensive. So we'll go buy that from the store. And then come back and carry on sort of working those logs into large piles like that. Okay, so there we go. We have another 2,500 kilos of weight added to our machinery now. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more stable with a big pile of logs like that. Also, this is actually fitted with the Liebherr profile. There are two profiles, if you remember, the Manitou and the Liebherr. This one's fitted with the Liebherr. So I'm assuming that that one was designed for wheel loaders. Okay, this could be a little bit clunky. Yeah, these are going to shake themselves free, look. Oh, no. Alright, see if we can get them there as quick as we can. No, they're all sliding out. I kind of drag them up there. Oh, nearly. If I'm quick. No, no, they're slipping. Alright, so I'm going to have to manually load these. I might be able to actually scoop some of them up with this claw. This is the other reason I don't like this claw that much, is because they just squirm and slide so much. Alright, so I've got a kind of a straight edge to push them against, which is good, but they're not all lined up at the moment, so I need to squeeze a couple of these rear ones back in again, or these side ones. A little touch more. There we go. Alright, so let's try picking these back up again so we can load them directly upwards. Just need to deal with this errant piece just here. There we go. Oh, that went much smoother. Much, much smoother. Will they unload with that same smoothness? Probably not. That's not too bad. It's a little bit iffy in places on that side of the pile, but it'll do. I'll settle for that. I am going to trim this little piece here, though. There we go. Alright, let's grab the rest of these logs off here, and then we'll get one of these set up in the middle for us to actually start positioning our trees on and cutting them. Okay, so we have a log stand placed over here now, as you can see. So I'm going to start grabbing some of these larger logs, these trees that we've cut down, start stacking them on there so we can get them cut, and then we can then use the wheel loader to transfer them over to our storage stands just over there. But time is running out for this day. As you can see, it's gone 7 o'clock. We've still got plenty of light because it's the middle of summer. So it's going to be a while yet before it starts to get dark on this map, but I'll probably wrap it up around you know, somewhere around about sort of 8-9 o'clock, somewhere around that, and then come back and we'll continue this on day 4. It looks like the first tree we're putting down is a very long one indeed. It is. So let's give that a little nudge forward a bit. There we go. Let's clamp onto the end of that, trim that, and sell it off. A little bit of extra cash. Help pay for the costs of our log stand. There's one other thing I'm toying with, as I said, I was toying with getting, and that's the log drag. I think I have it installed. Let me check. So it's going to be under logging equipment, forestry equipment. Where is it? There we go. This is a great way to drag logs along. I did toy with the idea of this, but I just don't think that's going to be very helpful. Although, actually, maybe we could do one of those. I'm definitely going to need one of these, so let's buy one of those. As for this, I just don't know. That might be easier than using the front loader that we're using. I might go for one of those. Although we would probably need a heavier tractor, so maybe we'd need a T7 or a T8 or something up here for forestry, and then we could attach one of those. I don't know. I'm definitely going to use this one though, so I'm going to go grab that right now, so I can actually drag some of the logs into position, and hopefully we can keep that attached at the same time as using the front loader forks. We can always just, when we need to use the log grab, we can attach it and then just raise the arms up like this, and then when we're done we can detach it and then drop the arms back down again. So yeah, let's go grab our log fork dragger from the store. Now the purpose of this isn't for mass use. This is mainly for just when we get a log in an awkward position, we can use that to quite comfortably drag it out. Because the great thing about this, if I attach to it, is it actually has the ability to fasten the tension belt to it as well. So if we do have a log in a really awkward, just ran someone straight over there. If we do have a log in an awkward position, then we can drag it to a little bit more friendly location where we can actually work with it a bit more. Oh, did not mean to drop that piece there. That's what I meant to drop. No, it's in the way. Alright, let's put it to the side. Just there. Alright, so let's carry on stacking these logs. You can see the shadows are starting to stretch a little bit now. The sun is starting to go down. It's going to be light for another hour or two yet, I think, before it gets really dark. I'm going to call it, I think, about 8:30, and then that'll be the end of day 3, and then we'll be back here for day 4, finishing off the logging work that we started today. And this actually would have been a good opportunity for us to use that logging drag, so we could pull it out from underneath that tree just there, but never mind. I do not want to get it stuck or wedged underneath that. I made that mistake earlier on that first log stand there. I actually got a log wedged underneath the frame, and I had to cut the log up to try and get it free, and still a little piece of it wedged underneath the corner of the stand. So that's going to be stuck there, I think, for a while. Maybe I might be able to get it out in the future with a stump grinder. But for now, it's not going anywhere. Another oversized tree. Looks like they could all be quite big at this area. Let's try and give that tree a bit of a nudge forward as well, because it's a little bit hanging over the back more than I would like. There we go. And a little bit more cash that we can grab right now with this one. Look how sort of twisted and out of shape this tree is. It's certainly not a long, straight piece. An extra few hundred euros just here. It all helps. 452. So this is going to be our last tree loaded for the day, and it's a really long one, so we'll have to trim part of the edge of it as well. I need to reverse down the hill simply because of how long it is. It's catching on the uneven ground. Look how long this thing is. It's caught on that stump halfway up the hill there. This is a monster long tree. There we go. So again, we'll clamp on the end, we'll sell that a little bit off, and then we'll head back to the farm, call it a night, and then in the morning we'll grab our eggs and make our way back over here again. Let's just chop this just here. There we go. And an extra 500 euros just there. Right, that's it for the day. As I say, we're going to head back to the farm now, call it an evening, get some rest, come back in the morning and continue working our log pile over there. Well, there we go. It's 20 past 5 the following morning. Let's grab our eggs. There we go. Jump back in our tractor and make our way back over to the sawmill. And carry on with our sort of logging prep operation. Right, so we're back at the sawmill. Got quite a lot of work that needs to get done over here. We've got more trees that are going to need to get cut down in the future, but as well as that, so we've still got a lot of logs that we left over. And the ones that we did stack on the stand, just over there by the I keep calling it telehandler, by the wheel loader, they need to be cut and then grabbed and dragged over to these stands over here as well. So actually thinking about it as well, while I'm at it, I don't know if we actually cut this one. I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Let's grab this one log here. It's kind of just sitting here forlornly on its own, and move that over. Try and do it without hooking onto the frame itself. There we go. See that claw shaking there. And we've got that one loose piece there. I'll move that over in a second as well. But first of all, ooh, big wobble. Imagine how unstable we'd be if we didn't have this rear weight attached. We'd be all over the place. Let's plonk this down on here and release the claw. We've got space for one or two more logs on there, I think. Let's move that single piece that we have as well before I forget. Meant to do that yesterday. I've driven straight past it. There it is. You can see the shadows are really quite long coming through from those trees. That's nice. I like to see that. There's that piece of wood, and you can just see there by the wheel that's kind of wedged underneath the frame. I trimmed as much of it as I could to try and maybe get it to disappear if there was not enough wood there, but it's a reasonably thick piece, so I can't get that to disappear just yet. I'll try something a little bit later, and when we get a stump grinder up here, I'll see if I can actually get in there and grind that piece out, but if not, then that's going to stay there probably until we get rid of that log stand, so probably for the rest of the map. There we go, nice big piece, nice big pile building up just there. Right, onwards and upwards we go, carrying on with moving these logs. Make our way up this hill. Let's grab this log. This is another really long one by the look of it. Might be two really long ones actually, looking at it. There we go. And let's move the first log of the day. Still struggling, even with that weight. Yeah, we are going to have to trim the end off this piece as well. So a little bit of extra cash. I forgot to put the money in the account last night, actually. So we did end up paying slightly more in loan interest. And to be fair, you know, we would probably only taken literally a couple of dollars off that loan in terms of interest fees. And we paid $3.5 grand in interest overnight. And that's going to happen every day until we get that loan paid off, or at least reduced substantially. We're going to be paying out quite a bit. It is, you know, unfortunate, but you know, we knew that going into taking out this large amount of money that we would kind of be hemorrhaging, you know, money on loan payments for a while. But hopefully with these large trees that we do have in the forest, we'll get quite a few of those mixed in with the more regular sized ones, and we'll be able to claw in a few €1,000 a day just by selling off those extended pieces there for around 500 a time. So another pile of logs here, ready to stack up with the rest over here. Making good progress clearing all the trees that we've cut down so far, although we have still got the really awkward section over there by the sawmill pit for wood chips. There's a lot of very dippy ground over there. It's going to be quite difficult. This is where we're going to use our log grab to actually drag those logs into position, I think, before we can actually start maneuvering them around. But getting a nice, good sized pile of logs built up on this one. I think I might leave it at that for this particular stand. We can always add to them in the future. And oh, what we got? A great demand for soybean. That's only going to last for 6 hours, and I don't think we might have a couple of thousand litres, but that's going to be about it. What's the price looking like for soybean at the moment? It's still not bad, is it? It's not quite as high as it was yesterday. But if that great demand goes up over the next 6 hours, then I may be tempted to sell that 4,500 litres. That'll bring in around 10 grand. Might as well. Keep an eye on that and see what it ends up as. But we've got till 3 in the afternoon to kind of make a decision. Alright, so some of these next logs are in some pretty awkward positions, as you can see. Really up against it, so we're going to actually... oops. We're going to use our brand new log grab instead. Just fold the claw up. There we go. If it gets too problematic, we can always detach that, but I'd like to see if we can just leave it attached, see how we get on. Keeping the rear weight attached because we're going to need it for counterbalance, I believe. But you can see some of these are in really, really tricky positions. So let's grab onto this log first of all. Yeah, this is going to be problematic, I think, possibly. There we go. No, we're okay. We're good. I can try and drag this log out to somewhere where it's going to be much, much easier to grab. That one could be problematic. We'll drag it anyway, just to be on the safe side. See, without that tension belt, we wouldn't even be able to grab this log, but... Oh, trying to drive over a stump. That's not clever. Reposition. There we go. If it wasn't for the tension belt, there's no way we'd be able to actually grab the log like this. That tension belt does make things a lot easier for us. You have to kind of change the angle of the arm. Oh, we're over. Ah, that's not so clever. Whoops. Okay, let's unfasten the belt. There we go. Oh, yeah. Whoops. I think we're going to need to work these tools one at a time. So let's drop this off just out the way on a flat piece of ground so that we can actually connect back up to it again in a moment. Just there will do. And let's try this again. I think also we'll refrain from grabbing the awkward end of a log, you know, the pointy bit, and stick purely to the stuff that is going to be easier to handle. Most of these logs we should be able to pick up. It's some of these ones in these awkward spots. I think actually we might be okay now, looking at it. After all that, I don't think we only needed it for that one log. Like I said, this was never going to be a piece of equipment that we would be using very heavily. This was always just something to help grab those kind of really awkward positioned logs, mainly the ones that are sort of stuck underneath other logs. But I think now we should be able to quite easily grab every single one of these. I'm just worried about this dip here. Might make grabbing the log a little bit more awkward than it could be. Let's see how we get on. No, we're okay. Let's avoid the stump on the way out. We're catching on the stand. There we go. Let's get a little bit of height clearance. Release. Alright, more logs to move. We filled up the log stand yet again. I need to actually cut and trim these logs, chop them in half. You can see they're all connected right now, so get on at the back where it's at its lowest point. Make our way to the middle. And start cutting. Oops. Going to be a bit awkward, I think. Maybe change the angle. There we go. So yeah, we'll get these cut. We'll get these stacked over to the side. There's only a couple of trees left to clear. We've got 3 trees left, I think, that need to be picked up and dragged over here. So what I'll do is, because we're pretty much out of time, I'm going to work the second half of the day kind of doing more of the same. So we'll chop a few more trees down, there won't be too many. Once you get those delimbed, brought over to here, cut, and then stacked with the wheel loader onto the storage pallets just behind us. And then that'll be it for our summer logging. I'm hoping that tomorrow, day 5, we'll actually have some field work that we need to get done again. So I'm going to call it an episode here. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and we'll be back with some more Seasons in the Valley very soon.